We're back Friday morning. People were asking for a show. They wanted the flow card recap. They wanted the tidbits with the allocations and a lot of little tidbits. And we said, let's let the dust settle. Willie did a classic Willie all-nighter,
All night,
diving
baby.
deep, diving deep into the allocations.
And I'm still drinking coffee. I started I don't know, probably 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, um, doing crystal ball. And then I started fading. And then I started digging into allocations and I just kept going. And so um, it'll be pretty neat. Actually, I think it's neat. I think it's one of the most important things of the year. I'll have up, I didn't put it up yet, but it'll be up by the time you're watching the show. Uh, Not only crystal ball, but also the allocations, who earned them. Hat tip to Seton Hall Pirate because he figures it all out. But um, I also include who needs. There's a lot of high rank guys that need, uh, but I list them by weight and by conference and who. If the ACC got five guys automatically qualified. I list who earned them. Now they're not locked in; they're not automatic qualifiers, but um, it's a list of who earned them and who did not earn them. And there's a lot of big names. There got to be 6, 7 former All Americans
Well, we're gonna go
that did
through them.
not earn a seat.
We're gonna go
Huh?
through them in a little bit. That was what one
Yeah.
of Willie's big. He said he got that done. He got crystal ball done. And it was
hmm
it's that time of year. It's a lot of like data and nerdy stuff where you can get in the weeds and analyze and predict. And we all are going to do, you also did crystal ball. We're going to do a show on Monday, probably Monday night-ish, with crystal ball review and precedes. If I recall
Yeah.
correctly, um, I was trying to go to Raw Monday night. Jacob Casper in Buffalo, Julius Creed, but I don't know because I got to see. So I want to make sure we get our show out. If I recall correctly, last year they did a seed selection show at night. Because I remember going on tilt about it on Twitter and people crying that it's good they're doing a show. So I don't know. I think last year we
That
got what?
this seed selection show. What they did one for Big Ten?
They did one for Big Tens. And we ended up getting them early, so we recorded early and published a show after they did.
Oh yeah, I like when that happens. That's funny.
So hopefully we get the pre-seeds early again on Monday, and then we can do a show doing Big Ten pre-seeds and Crystal Ball.
But you know what? There was a curveball this year. Um, because I was like badgering some coaches today, saying, "Hey, let me know, let me know when the final entries are in." And then they were like, "You know what?" Two different coaches was like, "You know what? I forgot they actually changed the procedure this year." Because I was looking forward I am looking forward to knowing who Iowa sends at 74. It's 74 more than 84. I mean, we all assume it's going to be Gabe. Um, but the Nelson Kennedy thing, and it used to be they had to be in by today, by Thursday. And so I was like, man, come on, guys, let me know when this deadline is. They said they changed it. So for 2 years in a row, Iowa did not submit the right guy, or they might have submitted the right guy, but they changed it at 133, 2 years in a row, and both occasions resulted in Teskey getting the 14th seed, Teskey getting the last seed. So last year, Teskey they put Shriver in. Meanwhile, Shriver and Teskey are wrestling off, and it ends up being Teskey because they originally put Shriver in there. And what happened was Teskey goes to the 14, and he has to wrestle Nick Bouzakis. Well, Tom Ryan did not like that too much and he pled his case and was like, we got to change the system. And so they changed the system. If you you are now allowed to change your starter for the Big Ten Championship, your entry for the Big Ten Championships, up until the Thursday night before. All right. And, Thursday at 12:30. That's the deadline to have a new starter if you have a new starter, if you want to change your starter. So we will not know if there's going to be changes. We will not know until Friday morning. We might not even know till weigh-ins.
Yeah, and for context, if the reason he's 14th is previously, if you did not submit the guy and you changed it, he got thrown in dead last. So that's what happened, where Teskey couldn't have been seated.
Are Big Tens Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday?
Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, then we will know, because there's a seed meeting Friday. So we'll know a little bit in advance. Not like normally, but we'll know a little bit in advance. And so, yeah, that's a little bit of a curveball. There's not too many questions about who's going to be the starters, other than, Indiana made a change at 174. They put in Derek Gilcher instead of Roman Rogotsky. And a couple guys different. One from Michigan State. I was the one that everybody's looking at, right? I was that one in the Big Ten, marks. In the EIWA. Probably the biggest ones are Iowa at 74 and Lehigh at 33.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
So here in the show notes, we're going to get to we'll get to the flow card, we'll get to the allocations in a second, but we got a couple quick hitters in here, and one of the big stories the past couple days has been Anthony Knox. Arguably, he's the number one guy in the country at 126 pounds, and going for his fourth state title in New Jersey, and they get into a fight in the stands, right? And so New Jersey State Athletic Association said, you can't compete in Atlantic City for your fourth title. And I guess they're appealing it and yada, yada, yada. But everybody's talking about it. Now, in the show notes here, you say you listen to the whole court hearing. I didn't pay attention to it. I mean, well, I know what happened. Here's the thing. I know it's like historic, to win 4 titles. To me, I don't care if he can or can't. Like, nobody's going to sniff him. It's like,
so,
foregone conclusion he's going to win.
Yeah. So I was in the office yesterday and I got a couple texts like, hey, this Knox thing is going to be streamed on the internet. So, okay, so I'll turn it on. So I turned it on, and Knox's attorney is great. The guy for New Jersey is kind of a prick, saying this is like tough love and this and that. But the attorney for Knox was pretty good. He was basically trying to nitpick, like, listen, you can't ding him for the rule of leaving a bench when there's no bench at a postseason, at a tournament, this and that. There's no due process. So he's basically trying to find any loophole he can. And the judge, they went back and forth for like an hour and didn't really get anywhere. The judge said he was going to have his opinion.
You watched it for an hour?
I had it on for an hour. Like I have 2 TVs in my office. So I had Fox News Business on one, and then I had the court hearing on the other, and I let it play. It's entertaining. Patrick Jennings, he was awesome. It was, we have not had something like this.
Who the hell is Patrick Jennings?
Since the Willie trials.
Isn't that the host of Jeopardy?
No, you're thinking of Ken Jennings. Patrick Jennings is the attorney for the Knox family. But he made some great points.
He ain't no Carlos Altero.
No, but New Jersey's attorney did remind me of Karen. I texted Minio. I'm like, this guy is like the new Karen, like trying to just rain on everybody's parade. But apparently the opinion's going to be out today, so we'll know this morning. The thing that's funny is Knox's attorney basically.
Part of me wishes he just said, you know what, forget about it. You know, you guys don't want me to wrestle the state tournament. I won't wrestle the state tournament. Who cares?
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, to be fair, he would be only the 5th New Jersey State wrestler ever to win 4 titles. So that is kind of historic. Like, only 5 people in the history have done it. I understand it. Now, even Fox News put out an article that it's not going to affect anything with college. He's still planning on taking a year off and then enrolling in Cornell in 2026. And that's not changing. You know, so it doesn't. But if you heard the theatrics from Knox's attorney, like, this will create lifelong harm, the scars will never heal. Like, he was going all out on the importance of it.
Yeah, I heard people say different things. I heard people say he argued about you can't leave the bench because what do you mean you can't leave the bench? There's no designated area at a tournament, which that's brilliant. Not brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's facts.
Well, they cited that as a rule. They cited he broke the rule of leaving the bench as part of his disqualification. Yeah. So he tore that apart, rightfully so.
Anyway, what really gets me are all the pearl clutchers. And it's precisely like the trap that you fall into. I mean, this is predicated on a bunch of freaking geeks and dorks and wannabes and just bad human beings who yell stuff and talk smack and like clown, and they just suck you in. That's what happened. That's what happened. They just talk shit on Knox and his family the same way people do at tournaments to Bo Bassett and other top recruits, and they snapped, right? They snapped, and I mean, that's what happened. And if you look at the video, old man Knox, he didn't touch anybody. He didn't. I mean, I'm telling you right now that if old man Knox went to clean that room, he would clean that room. He didn't touch us. He didn't harm a soul. Right now, Anthony, I guess allegedly was involved. You know, he was. He
listen.
Did something.
Yeah, and you absolutely cannot go into the stands and hit people, just punch. You can't do any of that. But
I'm not saying you can. But these pearl clutchers that are like, oh, the audacity! He should really get a scholarship taken away. Oh my goodness!
We got a new Willie voice.
God damn! Stop being such a snowflake. A kid got in a fight. A kid in high school got in a fight. I mean, give me a break. Shit happens. Guess what? Teenagers get in fights. Oh my God, his dad. Oh my God, Mr. Knox was just looking for trouble. He didn't do anything but yelling at somebody. Is it a crime to speak loudly at somebody that's yelling obscenities to you? I mean, grow a pair, you puss. Fuck. I just.
You feel better now? You feel better?
No, because even on my boards, even on Intermat's boards, people are like, "Oh my God, well, he was he's a MMA guy and he thinks he's a tough guy and he's a meathead and he was wearing a shirt. Who wears shirtless, sleeveless shirts in the wintertime? What a douchebag! Shut up, you pussy! Oh my God." I mean, all these judgmental pricks. You never took the heat that Anthony Knox takes by a bunch of wannabe dorks. You never took the heat that Bo Bassett, all the shit that gets thrown on him.
So are you very much let Anthony Knox compete, or are you not? on one hand, it sounds like you don't care if he competes. On the other, you're full bore, let bygones be bygones.
I mean, look. I mean, I don't want to hurt his chance. I don't. You do something and there's consequences. I'm not saying he should or shouldn't be able to wrestle. I'm saying if he did something and there's consequences, big deal. If you think more or less of Anthony Knox because of this incident, that's a you problem. I mean, you're 17, 18 years old and you lose your head sometimes, right? You get pushed to a point where you feel you have to stand up for something, or you're just being picked on. I don't know.
All right, well, this was a quick hitter, so we'll see. The opinion will be out this morning. It sounds like I don't think the judge is going to let him compete. That's my takeaways. I don't think he's going to compete, but
I didn't think he was going to let him. I from Jump Street, I didn't think he was going to let him. That's why I thought it would be better for Anthony if he just said, you know what, the hell with you. And that's another reason why. I mean, I say it every once in a while, twice a year, 3 times a year. With all the state rules and all the dumb, you can't compete here and you can't travel there and you can't wrestle against prep schools and they sent St. John Vianney an hour and a half down to some podunk district that they're not even supposed to be in, with a bunch of scumbag people. That's why I consider those people scumbags. And with all the rules that go on and all the oversight or lack thereof oversight and suspensions and at what point is it just better to start a national circuit that doesn't have to deal with these idiots, that doesn't have to deal with Pennsylvania got one set of weights, Michigan got another, Idaho has another, Iowa can't travel to Oklahoma, California can't wrestle against Blair Academy. I mean, it's just stupid. There's all these stupid rules, and they don't police it. You got a bunch of scumbags. Yelling and heckling, just trying to get Anthony Knox to a place where he eventually got. I mean, they baited him, and I don't know. It's whack.
I agree. All right, well, so much for a quick hitter. That was a quick 10-minute quick hitter. What's next on the list? What do you want to hit next?
Snyder had a week, huh? Snyder
had
a week, and I think it's very important that we talk about this, because there is one guy, maybe on Earth, that competes. And his name is Kyle Snyder. There is nobody as prolific, as accomplished, as credentialed as Kyle Snyder that competes as much as he does. And it's a breath of fresh air. And it's okay to take a loss, guys. It's okay to take a loss.
Well,
I talked to Spencer Lee right after his match, and you know what? Spencer was bummed, but it's good to compete. You lost 3-2. It's good to compete. You're better off for that loss. You're better. Kyle Snyder's better off, not necessarily losing that match, but
let's give them some context.
Better off for that tour.
Hold on. Time out. You're getting ahead of yourself. Let's give them some context. So Snyder goes on Tuesday, and he competes at PWL 8, an event in Kazakhstan. It's a pay-per-view event. It's kind of like Flow's Card. It's a version internationally. So Snyder goes, and he wins 2 matches. He wins 7-3, and then he beats the 2023 world champ at 92 kilos 8-0. Great showing on Tuesday. Initially, when we were talking about this, I said, there's no way Snyder's going to the ranking series. He's wrestling 2 matches in Kazakhstan on Tuesday. Turns out, he's a baller. He competed in 2 matches in Kazakhstan on Tuesday, traveled to Albania on Wednesday, and then entered the ranking series on Thursday. He beat the tough Iranian 3-2 in the opening round. And then I believe in the semis, he lost to Yoshida from Japan. I can't remember the score, but it was close. And you instantly had some boo birds talking about, like, Snyder takes a loss. And it's like, that loss, in the history of Snyder's losses, that one might be the one I care the absolute least about. Because like you were saying before we kind of talked about this, like, the dude just loves to compete. And you go from competing in a multi-match event in Kazakhstan on Tuesday to a ranking series in Albania on Thursday. Like, yeah, maybe you're not just going to wipe the floor with everybody across the world in a 2-day span. Still very, very impressive.
I mean, I think it goes beyond. I mean, I think it's important that you like to compete. I think that's a big thing because, frankly, I don't know if senior level guys like to compete. I mean, they only do it when they have to. I mean, especially the 1s and 2s. 1s, 2s, and 3s. I mean, a lot of them don't compete often at all. Now, we are a little old. We are a little long in the tooth, our typical 1s. But it's getting to be like that's the way. They don't compete often. And so 2 things. It's one, do you even like to wrestle? Because you don't do it very often. You spend for every 1 match you wrestle, you spend 10,000 hours doing what? I don't know. So I question if they like to wrestle. Number 1, and number 2, obviously Kyle doesn't think it hinders his ability for the future. He probably thinks it's an asset to get mat time and to get different feels. And so, I don't know. I find it refreshing.
It is. And, you know, we kind of laughed about it. UWW, I think it was a dumb thing to say. UWW put out their, like, season preview guide and said Snyder's fighting for relevance. No, he's not. He's not fighting for relevance. He's one of the absolute best guys in the world, and he happens to have Sedulayev in his weight. He happens to have Taz at his weight. Like, he's not fighting for relevance. Snyder's one of the most relevant wrestlers in the world.
The one guy he just beat, didn't he win Worlds last year?
He won. He beat the guy who won Worlds at 92 right? kilos in 2023.
Yeah. I mean, he just beat a world champ. So.
And he beat him good. He beat him 8-0.
We talked about that before. Like, I think that that kind of probably got lost in translation. I mean, he's clearly not. When you medal almost every year, you're not fighting for relevance. I just think it's a bad. Eight Makan of Kazakhstan was junior world champ last year. He was U23 world champ last year. He won both, and he won seniors in 23.
Right.
So relevant that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know who the Yoshida guy is.
I don't think he's anybody that's like done anything that impressive. I mean, when you think Yoshida, Japan, you think one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. You're not thinking Japan's heavyweight, Arash, yeah. I think. By the way, he wrestled great. He won gold, I believe. Before he's done good. He's definitely a tough competitor.
Any other overseas matches? Was there any other that was just Kyle?
Well, there was a ranking series going on. Kyle wrestled in the event on Tuesday PWL,
I
and
mean,
then
Americans.
yeah, at the ranking series there was a ton, just not at PWL.
Oh yeah, James lost, right? James lost to American. Who did he lose to?
Will Luan beat James Green 4-2.
Oh my God, sounds like a score fest.
Real Woods was wrestling Amuzad and looked great the first period.
Oh yeah, I heard that too.
He got a
And it was
takedown.
all Amazon second period.
Yeah, he got a takedown. He was up 2-0, and then he was leading. I think Amazon got 2 push-out points, and Woods was leading on criteria 2-2 at the break. And then the second period, Amazon just beat the doors off him like 11-2. But Woods,
Did you ever see Amuzad's arms? Like he is so long. He is so long.
Woods looked good though. Woods.
I think Woods has some. Like I think Woods has some ability. Like I think he could be a dude.
Yeah, he won a bronze here. He won bronze here. I think. I think Real is a real competitor at 65. I'm very excited to watch. Very excited to watch what he does at 65 kilos.
Yeah, it's dude, it's interesting because we're gonna go through a an overhaul, right? A lot this year and probably even more in the next 2 years. We're gonna be looking for who's our guy at 65. And a couple other weights. Hey, Chance. Oh yeah, Chance went unscored upon, right?
So Chance was our only gold medalist in men's freestyle at this ranking series. We had 3 gold medalists at the last ranking series, including Spencer Lee, Snyder, and maybe Zahid. Let's go back and check. But yeah, Chance wrestled awesome. He did not give up a point the entire tournament. Was our only men's freestyle gold medalist.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, and that's up at 86.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's go to the flow card.
By the way, like this is a good transition, I think. There's never been more opportunities to wrestle. It is amazing how much senior level wrestling there is this week. Like here it seems like we're in that postseason lull where like everything's done, and now you have high school postseason, but on the college and senior level, it's usually like a pretty big lull. Here we had Snyder at PWL 8 and 2 matches on Tuesday, a flow card Wednesday, ranking series Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It is crazy how much wrestling there is right now compared to call it 5 years ago.
I know, but the only thing I'm a wrestling diehard.
Are you?
That's all I do. It's all I do. But the problem for me is, and I think a lot of other fans, is that the whole country, like the United States, the United States wrestling fan base would have all been watching that if there wasn't so much other stuff they had to do wrestling wise, like college results, high school districts. What I'm getting at is the UWW calendar and some very important stuff like ranking series. It starts right when it's our wheelhouse,
Yeah.
right when we have big stuff going on. So it's great, and it's great, and they, UWW cannot work around United States folk style schedule. I get that, right? But it's just you can only, your bandwidth for us guys in the United States. Can't focus on it as much as we would in June.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, where it's like we're so behind the rest of the world as far as our senior level schedule because we do cater to high school and college, specifically college, because like already we're less than a month away from the start of the Asian Championships. Like these other
I
countries
know.
are so far along the process compared to like where we don't have, the Open until end of April. Final X, the date was set yesterday for June 14th, which small little tidbit about that. I'm so glad they're doing it this way this year. Greco team will be decided at the U.S. Open. Final X is just men's and women's freestyle.
Yeah, I'm probably in the vast minority. I wish they were all together.
I don't.
I know, because let's just be frank. Most people don't care that much about Greco. I'm not the most diehard Greco guy, but when it comes down to selecting our team, I want to watch it. I want to watch these guys.
You can watch them at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I know. And I will be there. But
are we getting a suite again? It was.
So is that the same? Is that the same venue as it was last?
Yes. Yeah, in 2023.
2023. Yep. That was a good place. I like that place.
Yeah, no crap. You were in the suite slinging tequila.
No, I just mean like the location and everything.
Well, I think Newark's a dump, but I like it. I'll be there. I can fly in and out same day. I like it. It's a 50-minute flight for me.
Yeah. I was supposed to stay at Pashada's house that weekend, but he took Rob Cole out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean to go fishing and forgot to send me the passcode for his thing. I got locked out.
It was debauchery. So yeah, that was a quick tidbit on Final X. But so going back to, we digress from the Flow card. So I thought it was a great event. I thought, I'm very critical of Flow, and this time I thought the stream was good. I thought I've been critical before about having these cards and not having fans. I think Iowa was a great place to have this, and I thought the crowd was good.
It looked like it was well attended.
It did. Well attended. It looked like it was well attended. And I wonder, like, listen, if you put Spencer Lee in a card, you're going to draw a good audience. I do wonder if, like, you went more heavy with Iowa, and maybe you do, like, Iowa versus the world, and you get a couple more Hawkeyes, whether they're college kids. It's tough because I know right now time-wise, but, like, if you'd get an even bigger draw, you figure Iowa had DeSanto and Spencer, and their home crowd really showed out. I'd say a lot of that, too, David Carr. I mean, he got one of the biggest pops of the night. But I thought that was great. The fans were great. I thought Shane Sparks doing play-by-play, I know he's got such a folk-style bias, and he's right in the thick of it with going from, the college regular season to Big Tens. I thought Shane did awesome on play-by-play. So I thought overall it was a great event.
I actually watched. I was at a Buffalo Wild Wings. It's one of the finer wing establishments.
Nothing but the best for Willie.
I wasn't listening to the audio, but I did think, some of these cards, and in particular Flow, I mean, I guess even Final X sometimes, the pace of the shows are often off. Like they more often than not drag out so long. I thought this one was pretty good.
It was. The main card started at 8 and it was over by 10:15. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too bad. I love seeing David Carr get the win. I thought that was a very good performance by him. What was the other good matches?
So Jay Aiello, Tech Marcus.
And there's another one. There's another one. I mean, this is a guy, and you don't know where they're at in their cycle, right? So it might not be the same guy, but that's all right. But this is a guy that beat Kyle Dake, right? And Carr beats him. So you talk about new guys making the team. I mean, Carr's in that mix, right?
Listen, you have to absolutely consider Carr one of the leading contenders for 74, 79 kilos after that performance. I mean, he's already had junior world level success. We've seen him have success on the international stage. I think this only furthers it when you beat a guy like Takatani. And listen, it was an exhibition match. It was at 76 kilos. But to still score early, get a late, he got a takedown, he got a lace, he got some points there. He kind of got a nice early lead, and he held on to it. His defense was great. I thought it was as good of a win for Carr as any.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a really good performance. Gross beat DeSanto. Gomez, I thought Gomez looked good. Now it's really difficult to ever know. Andonian is so, I don't know. Sometimes he's electric and sometimes he's not great. But I always say I'm a body language type guy. I thought Gomez looked the part. I thought he moved well. I thought his gas tank was fine.
Well, you know what? To me, the two things about Gomez was, number one, this match was at 72, and Gomez looked every ounce of it.
That's why his gas tank was fine.
So it was 72 kilos, and he looked every bit of it. It was also interesting to have the Wisconsin coaches in his corner. He's very much still at Cliff Keen. There were some questions like, is he back at Wisconsin? No, he's very much still at Cliff Keen. Cliff Keen was, talking about him the whole night and claiming him as theirs. But Bono and Reeder were in his corner for this match. We haven't seen that in a while. So I was actually going to reach out to Reeder and ask him about it. But, yeah, it was worth noting for sure.
Yeah, I think they're pretty tight. Bono and Reeder are pretty tight with Gomez. And I don't think it was like – obviously, there's obviously no bad blood. He left, but it's good to see that, in my opinion. Zahid beat Hidley 5-0.
Yep.
What'd you think of that match? I thought Zahid. Well, first of all, he came out in a robe.
He's been doing that lately. Listen, I think Zahid's our guy at 86 right now. He's already proven he can contend with the best of the world. His only losses, I mean, you look at his losses, they're to Aaron Brooks, who was seconds away from winning Olympic gold or from being in that Olympic final. He lost to David Taylor, one of the greatest ever. Like, Zahid is right there. I don't see anybody challenging him at 86. I think Trent is as tough as they come. He's a madman. But I just think Zahid has kind of established that he's the front runner at 86 kilos.
Yeah, and I think the new feels, the new situation will really benefit him. He's in a room with David Taylor all the time, so I think that can only help. And then Spencer and Ono, what'd you make of that? 0 takedowns in the match. It was a 3-2 final win for Ono. And it appeared that Ono had some pop and power. He might have had a little, which is crazy to say because Spencer, everybody tells you Spencer's the strongest 125 pounder, the 57 kilo guy, crazy strength. But Ono was able to get Spencer to the edge a couple times. I thought Spencer took a couple of quality shots that usually work for him. It just didn't happen for him. Ono, I don't want to say stuffed it, but did enough to evade it.
I thought the match was how I kind of thought it would go. This was the overreaction match of the year. The responses on Twitter are so disproportionately out of touch, out of reality with the match.
I'm not top of the pulse. What they say?
I'll give you an example. So I tweet out, Ono beats Spencer 3-2. I thought the match is kind of what I suspected. You have two guys. Ono just doubled up and won junior and world gold last year. Spencer's an Olympic silver medalist and one of the best in the world. They very much respect each other. What's the reaction on Twitter? Oh, Ono's been training at stall camp at Penn State. Oh, Ono stalled the whole time. Oh, Ono's been doing typical Penn State stuff. It's like all of a sudden somehow this turned into nothing but anti-Penn State. And it's like, what an overreaction. Like, Spencer loses a 1-point match. Spencer just did not get to his offense. Ono has been tremendous. If you go back and look at his junior and world championship tournaments last year, he only let up a handful of points. His defense is absolutely incredible, and Spencer simply couldn't get to his offense. And the overreaction was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, to me, those kind of comments are just they're not serious comments. They're upset.
So they're not serious people, correct?
You know, but I think if you talk to Spencer, I think he would tell you that he wish he pulled the trigger a little bit more. But that, again, like going back to Kyle Snyder, good. It's better that you get these reps in there and make adjustments.
100%.
Who cares if you lose an exhibition, right? He's going to learn from it. You take the data, you take the experience, and you come back and, he's telling me, I'm pissed about this and I'm pissed about that and I should have done this and I should have done that. You know what? Spencer, I wish that you would have won, but you can take this and learn from it. And the things that you're telling me, apply them next time, right? The things that you're thinking, things that your reaction to how the match went, apply them next time. You're better off for it going forward. And props to him and props to Ona for taking the match.
100%. And listen, when we talked about it not too long ago, Spencer Lee is competing recently more than he ever has in the senior level. That's awesome. I hope we see more of that.
I know that's my favorite thing about Spencer right now. Is like I said it a while back. I was worried that the injuries would eat Spencer up. That how many years he went like walking wounded and toughing it out. But the fact that he's competing so often tells me like I'm just as happy that Spencer is competing a lot. And because it means he's obviously happy and enjoying it. I'm more happy for Spencer in that regard than I am seeing him win every time, right? Because that means he's happy, and I'm glad for it. Because he went through.
I don't think it means he's happy. I think he wants to be the best in the world. He could be happy, but I don't think just because he's competing a lot that means he's happy.
I do.
I think it's great. I mean, listen, that's his 9th match since January 18th. That's 9 matches in 40 days. That's awesome. I hope we see our best guys in the world competing more and more. By the way, fun fact, too, about Ono. So there was talk of what weight he'd go and this and that, depending on what Rei Higuchi does. Higuchi, who is the guy who beat Spencer in the finals of the Olympics, came out and said, yeah, I'm not competing in the World Championships. I probably won't compete again until the Olympics. So it sounds like with that, it sounds like with that, Ono will stay at 61 kilos. Yeah, he said I think Kozak had tweeted something about, or no, Olenowski tweeted something about, where was it? He said Ono now has wins over Yuguev, Lee, and Vito in his last 2 tournaments, and it's still likely he won't be Japan's rep at the World Championships. Everything obviously depends on where Rei goes, but don't be quick to count out Kento at 57 kilos. Rei Higuchi quote tweets it and says, I won't be competing at the World Championships this year. I train for Perfect Wrestling, all for 2028.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, to me, it's really weird that people think. I mean, who am I to tell an Olympic champion they're wrong, right? But from where I sit, how is it conducive to being the best version of yourself if you don't compete in a quad? I don't get that.
Well, I mean, yeah, we don't. I mean, is it that much different than some of our best guys that show up to Final X, win 2 matches, and show up to Worlds and win 4?
Um, Name a guy that didn't wrestle for a quad that did that.
No, but I don't know if we're misinterpreting if he's like just taking this 1 year off because he wants to be whatever, and then next year he's gonna. I don't know that he's gonna take the whole quad off. I lean towards that. He's just saying all for 2028. I don't know if he's implying he's not wrestling until 2028, or if he's just taking a year off, which we see guys do all the time.
Yeah, I could see that. I could. 1 year is different. I thought you were saying he ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna wrestle again until 28.
He says all for 2028. How you interpret that is,
Well, I guess we're talking about this in the lens of Spencer and 57 kilograms. I mean, there ain't no way Higuchi's wrestling anytime soon at 57.
Correct. So I think the thought was if he's not going 57 and he went up to 61 for Worlds this year, Ono would consider going down to 57 to compete, with Ray being the guy at 61. With Ray not competing at 61, Ono will stay at 61.
I don't know. I think, with the contenders that we know of at 57, like all of them struggle to get down there. And I'm not going to pretend that I'm like the foremost up on what 57s are up and comers, but I think Spencer pretty much the known contenders right now. I mean, might be somebody come out of the blue, but the known contenders, I think Spencer ragdolls them. Like, it's 57 Worlds this year. Who's going to go with Spencer?
I don't think anybody.
Right.
I think the best, I would say, heading into it, I would be surprised if Spencer's not the favorite. I'd say whoever Japan throws out at 57 is going to be a dog because their lightweights are always phenomenal. But if you look at, the other guys in the weight, I don't think they can come near Spencer.
Well, I don't know if they're always phenomenal. They've been phenomenal recently, and so
correct. The last decade, Japan's lightweights have been phenomenal.
So maybe, yeah, you have a point there. Russia always produces some good 57s.
India's Aman is pretty good at 57 right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he is, but
he's good. I don't think he beats Spencer, but he's very good.
Yeah. Yeah. 57, it's oftentimes one of the most difficult because there's a fresh blood that comes in there, right? At the other weights, there's more established guys. But then you see the new crop, and so it's hard to get a read. Like, how Taz came in and sort of like,
yeah.
I mean, but Taz had a loss earlier so he was sort of a surprise, right? Now there were some people that knew that he was legit, but he also like didn't win Asians before he won the Olympics. Or not the Olympics, Worlds. But that's the kind of surprise is one you get more at 57.
He definitely won Asians, both in 2023 and 2024.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. He won in 2023, and then he won Worlds.
Well,
he won in 2024.
He definitely took a loss. He took a loss at a 2023 ranking series. Okay, that's what it was.
But he won. Yeah, he won Asian Continental Championships in 2023, in 2022, and 2024.
Yeah, but I just remember like there were some like revisionist people after he went through his after he shocked the world, and there were some people like told I knew this guy was good. I knew this guy could. Yeah, he just lost to some guy. Like you didn't know it. Like maybe you knew who he was, and he could be a thing. It's clear. It's revisionist history to say I knew he could beat Snyder and Sedgwick. Stop. All right. Want to shift gears?
Yeah, NATO did look good too, by the way. Took down DeShazer 3 times in a row, beat him 7-0.
Where is he even training at?
I don't know. I think he got a coaching job out somewhere out west.
No kidding.
But he looked good.
Haven't seen him in a minute.
I thought he retired. I was trying to find the Instagram post. I thought he retired and took a coaching job full time. But I mean, he looked pretty dang good. I'm sure we'll see him at the Open.
All right. Let's go back to college and talk a little bit about, well, this will be real brief, but the coaches ranking came out.
Pure comedy.
Keegan O'Toole's ranked 5th. And I think it got a little misconstrued. Like, I tweet that he's ranked 5th and this is stupid. And some people assume like, oh, some coaches ranked him 5th. No, what happened was three coaches just didn't rank him at all. 3 coaches did not realize that he was back eligible to be ranked. Which, on one hand, they should be thinking he wrestled the other day. Okay? You should know, hey, he wrestled the other day. He should be able to be ranked. 2, he's literally on the sheet. He's on the sheet. His name's there. Keegan O'Toole. So you mailed it in. I mean, you weren't even paying attention.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you have what?
So if like 14 coaches rank him number 1 and 3 leave him completely off, his average drops, and his average is 5, I guess. So, and while on one hand it's not understandable, because what are you thinking? You have a responsibility to rank them correctly and get them out. And so look at the names on the list. Look at the names on the list and rank them accordingly. Number 1. Number 2, he just wrestled. So on one hand, it's understandable, but it's not understandable. The bottom line is the final product is a blasphemy.
They're just not taking it serious. That's the problem. The problem is the coaches do not take it seriously. I don't know why we still do this coaches rankings. It's just.
I was told that 3 coaches. So 3 coaches did
not rank him at all.
Rank Keegan O'Toole. I was also told that 3 coaches ranked Kyson Tarakina, who is not eligible to be ranked.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't pay attention. And so I don't know if they're. I mean, I feel like the outrage right now is like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like it's egg on everybody's face, and maybe they just scrap it. But at the very, very least, they need somebody to get the rankings back, look at it and see that 3 coaches didn't rank Keegan O'Toole, and send them back to those coaches. They need to look at the sheet and see that 3 guys ranked Kyson Tarakina, and send them back and say, no, he's not eligible to be ranked. There needs to be some mediation.
Yeah, I agree.
And, ultimately, it won't matter. Ultimately, it won't matter because, Keegan earned an allocation, and those guys above him earned an allocation. But and they'll correct it. They'll correct it for the fourth and final coaches ranking, but it's so pointless. Um, but anyway, that's the coaches ranking, and we all got a good laugh at it or cry. Uh, Allocations are out. It's always a big day when allocations are out, and if you don't know what allocations are, it's the threshold to which you must meet at the conference tournament to guarantee a spot. So they take an RPI, which is a formula of everything. It's like all kinds of stuff, including your winning percentage and your opponent's winning percentage and your opponent's winning percentage. So it's like a formula thing, right? They also take the coaches rank. They also take straight winning percentage, and you also have to have, I don't know what it is now, 11 matches, something like that.
Yeah, 10 or 11.
And so therefore, if Levi Haynes and I don't know who else is in the Big Ten. Let's just say this: if at heavyweight, Luke Luffman and Jacob Bullock and Ben Keeter and Seth Nevels and Josh Heinzman, Gable Stevenson, Greg Kirkfleet, if they all meet these benchmarks, they get an automatic qualification. They earn an automatic qualification for their conference. So there were 10 guys in the Big Ten at heavyweight that hit these benchmarks. So the Big Ten at heavyweight got 10 automatic qualifications. What that means is they don't let's say Gable Stevenson earned a qualification. That does not mean that Gable Stevenson is automatically locked in. That means 10 guys from the Big Ten earned an automatic qualification. At the Big Ten tournament, if you place top 10, you go.
Right.
If you do not place within the top 10, you need an at-large. And so it tells everybody in their conference what they need to do at the conference tournament to get in. And, it doesn't matter so much for the Gable Stevensons and the Greg Kirkfleets because they are not going to take 11th, right? But it does matter for the guys on the fringe. And it does matter in small conferences where they only get one or two, and there might be another third pretty good guy. And so, overall, we got a little twists and turns this year, a little change up in the conferences. Obviously, the EIWA split into the EIWA and the Ivies. The Ivies peeled off. And my knee-jerk reaction to that is I thought the Ivies got more than they probably should have. And I thought EIWA probably got a little bit less than they should have. Another curveball, another change this year is Stanford is in the ACC, which still makes me look twice. And I thought for the ACC it was a little uneven. I thought that they got more than they should have at some weights, and I thought they were a little light at others. They got 5 at 165 and 5 at heavyweight, which seems like a lot.
I should actually put these on the screen. Let me put these on the screen so people can see them.
What other general thoughts? Yeah, I thought EIWA's kind of got hosed. I mean, they got 4 4 weight classes where only one guy got a bid. Or I shouldn't even say that because they didn't get it. They didn't necessarily get a bid. EIWA will only have one guaranteed spot. At 133, they got only one guaranteed spot. At 149, one guaranteed spot. 157, one guaranteed spot. 184, one guaranteed spot, which is crazy considering. Now, I know that Ivy split off, but still, EIWA has consistently, over the years, been one of the best.
Your point about 184 was nuts.
Dude, 184 is... Was it 184? Yeah, 184 is crazy. So, 184... So, there's 8 qualifiers, right? There's 8 qualifiers total.
8 conferences.
Three of them, 3 of the conferences at 184 qualified no one. No, not one wrestler in 3 of the 8 conferences earned a bid. Like, they didn't meet the top 33, top 28 threshold.
Just crazy.
Which, listen, there are 9. So there's 8 conferences. There's 10 weights. There's 80 weights. Okay? Listen to this. There's 9 weight classes. There's 9 conference weight classes around the country that didn't earn even one allocation. You're talking about 11 or 12%. 11 or 12% of, like, is that what it is? 9 of 80? Whatever that percentage is, it's high. That their best guy did not meet the minimum thresholds.
Right.
That's insane and kind of sad. Yeah, so those are my overall thoughts. You know, another thing that I thought was interesting, though, was Pac-12's. You know, this year it's only 4 teams because Stanford left and there's been some movement and stuff. And we expect going forward that there'll be some realignment with some of the big, what's expected is some of the Big 12 teams will merge with the existing Pac-12. So that's something to be looking to going forward. But, you know, Pac-12 is only 4 teams, and I thought, ain't gonna be much going on there. And indeed, some of the weights, there ain't much going on there. But there's a couple, like 149, they have 4 teams, right? They have 3 guys in the top 10. Mm-hmm. At 49, they got Styles and I guess in the top 15. Styles and Abbas and Lamer. At 197... At 197, they got 3 in the top 9 with AJ and Munoz and Little. So there's some pretty interesting scraps there to be had.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's my overall thoughts. Again, I'm gonna put up everybody that earned a bid, how many bids each conference has, and the big names, highly ranked guys that need. And we can go through that a little bit here. 125, Kyson Terrakina needs from the Big 12. 125 is pretty easy peasy. ACC got 4 in: Ventresca, Robinson, Spencer Moore, Nick Babin. They do have number 31, Kevon Roller, who needs, but that's pretty simple. Big 12 got 7, and Kyson Terrakina, who's ranked 14th in the country, needs. Big 10, not much going on there. Everybody that is highly ranked is in or earned one. Same with EIWA. Ivy's fine. Ivy, the only wrinkle in the Ivies is Brett Unger is supposed to be dropping at 25. They announced that a while back. Tyler Ferreira in at 33, and he did earn a qualifier, did earn a bid. But Unger we still haven't seen yet. So the Ivies got 3 at 125 with McGowan, Gallagher, and Diego Sotelo. If Unger comes in and he doesn't indeed wrestle at the conference championships at 125, he's going to have to steal one. Yeah, that's 25. 33. And here's a spoiler alert. When Crystal Ball comes out tomorrow, there will be no Ryan Crookham at 133. I don't think he's wrestling. I'm pretty sure of it. I've been pretty sure of it this entire time. I'm not saying definitively. I'm not saying no chance. But if I'm doing Crystal Ball and I'm making a prediction, I'm predicting he's not wrestling. So that affects, now that we're on to 133, that affects EIWA's bigly. And here's another curveball. Here's another wrinkle that happened last week. It's sort of crazy. EIWA at the time had 2 bids. Before last weekend, EIWA had 2 guys to earn bids. It was Ethan Bergink and Curtis Phipps. Lehigh wrestled Matty Lopes to get enough matches to earn a bid. Okay? This is crazy. Matty Lopes went and did what he had to do. He won 2 matches and lost 1. It got him enough matches to be ranked, to be rankable. He got a rank when the coaches submitted the rankings. His win percentage stayed above the thing. But here's what happened. So with Lopes wrestling and Lopes doing what he did, he would have earned a bid. Here's the problem. And so the EIWA went from, yes, we're going to have 3, to we only got 1. And how did that happen? Because Curtis Phipps lost twice. Curtis Phipps last weekend lost his bid. And in doing so, Matty Lopes' best win, which was over Kirk Phipps, means Lopes lost his too. So now EIWA only has 1, and that's number 24, Ethan Bergink. So it's a real problem. Curtis Phipps is going to need to steal. If it's Ryan Crookham, everybody got problems because Crookham's going to win that way if he wrestles. If he's healthy. And Lopes sort of has a problem because now you're at the mercy. You're basically saying, I have to win the whole tournament. Which I imagine Lehigh is saying, whoa, maybe we don't either. If Crookham's hurt, he ain't going. And if Matty Lopes now, there's only 1 conference allocation, we have to win it, or we're in the at-large pool, and the at-large pool, it ain't looking so good. They might not even send him neither. So that was one of the more incredible things I saw before an allocation ever came out.
Yep.
ACC got 4. There's like 7 All-Americans. Ballpark. There's a handful of All-Americans that need to steal a bid, including at 133 here, Kai O'Reen, returning All-American, did not earn a bid. And they have 3 in the top 12 ACC. They got Ethan Oakley, Tyler Knox, and Connor McGonigal in the top 12. And then Kai O'Reen is 14. So with the matches that O'Reen wrestles, I mean, let's say he even gets 1 quality win. Let's say, he beats one of those guys. You have to think one of the 4 at-larges in the country at 133 are going to have to go to the ACC if O'Reen gets a good win. Big 12 has 6. Nobody really left out there. Big 10 got all 10, or got 10, and that's how many ranked guys they have. Ivy got Tyler Ferrara and Ryan Miller. Matt got 3. Pac-12 got 2, Nasir Bailey and Zeth Romney. SoCon got 2. 141. What's the big ones here? Number 18, Hayden Drury from Utah Valley. He needs 1. They got 7. He did not get 1. I'm not exactly sure why. Big 10 got. I have it wrong on this sheet. Big 10 got 7 at 41, right? Let me look here. Yeah, Big 10 got 7, but the only 2 that are out are Henry Porter and Grayson Clark, which are down in the 20s. EIWA is fine. They only have 2 guys that are ranked that are on the outside looking in. That's Carter Bailey and Trainer, but they're 31 and 32. Ivy's got 4. Ivy's got. This is what I'm saying about Ivy's. I think got too many. Ian Oswalt from Brown earned a bid at 41. He's not ranked on Intermat. He's not top 33 on WrestleStat. I'm not sure how he got one. But there's a small example, there's a microcosm of why I tend to think that Ivy got a little bit more than they deserve. Wyatt Henson got one from the MAC. Pac-12, just the conference champ will go. And if you're not the conference champ, you ain't getting a wild card out of the Pac-12. SoCon got 2. 49. ACC got 4. Not much going on at 41. Everybody that needs to be in is in. ACC got 3, but they have a 27 and 28. That's Sonny Santiago and Grigor Chalakian that need. Big 12 got 7 at 157. Number 18, Kobe Seabrick, did not get one. Again, kind of like Hayden Drury, right? Number 18 in the country, but still needs. And Big 12 got 2 guys that are unranked that earned bids. James Conway and Max Peterson, both totally unranked, but earned bids somehow. Kobe Seabrick did not. I think Kobe Seabrick, his win percentage, his RPI are really low. Here's the big one for 157 anyway. Ja'Cory Teamer did not get one. And that's because his record's 5-3. So, I mean, he's ranked number 3 in the country. He's returning national finalist, but he was ineligible for one because his match count's too low. That being said, the Big Ten got 8, so Ja'Cory will undoubtedly, unless he's hurt, he'll undoubtedly steal one. And it would probably be from somebody like Trevor Chumley or Brandon Cannon or Chase Saldate. 3 for the Ivies, led by Meyer. But that's about it. 57, mostly Ja'Cory Teamer story. ECC got 5 at 165. But 3 of them are the 28, 29, and 33 in the country. So I'm a little surprised that they got 5 when 3 of them are in the bottom 5 in the nation. Big 12 got 7. Everybody's in except for Tate Piccolo. Big 10 got 9. And now I'm going to say the ranking, but it's a little wonky, right? Intermat, I don't know what others have them. I don't even know what WrestleStat has them, but Patty Gallagher is ranked 9th, and he split the season basically between 57 and 65. Patty Gallagher did not earn one, so he's going to have to place 9th or higher. And when you're looking at the bottom half of 65, that means he outplaces a Scholes or a Mayfield or a Lillard or Anthony White. Yep, that's it for 74. You know who else? Here's another returning All-American. And Virginia Tech has 2 back-to-back guys returning All-Americans that did not earn. Number 21, Lenny Wolek, did not earn a bid at 174, and it's not a walk in the park for him. It's gonna be dicey. ACC has Lorenzo Norman, Josh Ogunsanya, Matty Singleton, who just majored Lenny Wolak, and Luca Augustine. So Wolak's going to really want to get a quality win at the ACC tournament and not leave his fate in the hands of at-larges. Now, I think he probably would get one, probably, but I don't know. His number 21 ranking is doing a lot of heavy lift. I mean, that's his last season wins are doing a lot of heavy lifting to give him that number 21. Big 12 is fine, although MJ Gatan needs one. Again, that's a similar situation as Patty. MJ split time 65-74, and so I believe that's the reason why he didn't already earn one. He's ranked 19th. 17 Jared Sima earned one. 27 Brody Conley earned one. Big 10 got 8. Everybody's in that really needs to be. EIWA got 4. Looks about right. Everything else is about right at 74. 84. Anything going on here? Oh, here's the big one at 84. Number 10, Colton Hawks. He's ranked 10th in the country. He didn't earn one. His record's 8-4. Probably an RPI thing. So he has the coach's rank. He has a winning percentage. I think. Maybe he doesn't. But yeah, number 10, Colton Hawks. Big 12, he's going to have to steal. And you're looking at guys like DJ Parker, Dennis Robin, Aiden Breno. Colton Hawks going to have to steal. Big 10's fine. Ryder Rogotsky needs. He didn't earn one. And then, of course,
TJ Stewart's going to end up with one?
TJ Stewart's on the bubble, man. And again, a lot like Lenny Wolak. TJ Stewart did not earn one. Mm-hmm. And ACC got 3. They got Reese Heller, Dylan Fishback, and Gavin Kane. That's 13, 14, and 19. TJ Stewart, who lost to Gavin Kane. TJ Stewart is 21. And again, like Wolak, that number 21, a lot of that comes from guys he beat last year. He doesn't have a whole lot of quality wins this year. And so Stewart is going to really want to beat one of those 3 guys.
Stewart does not have a win against a top 50 opponent this year.
I know.
It's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So if you finish 4th, if you finish behind Heller, if TJ Stewart does not beat Heller or Fishback or Kane at the ACC tournament, and he finishes 4th or lower, it sounds preposterous because we saw how good he was last year. I don't know. I don't think he'll get one.
I don't either. I think he has to earn it at ACCs or he ain't going. I mean, he's 10-10 on the year, does not have a single top 50 win. I don't know what the argument is. You can't just give somebody because they're a returning All-American, and that's the only criteria you'd have to argue it.
Yeah, so he's going to have to beat somebody. Obviously, he's capable of beating Fishback. That was a non-control, as a neutral danger takedown with no time remaining. So that's how close he is. And he certainly has the ability to beat those guys, but you have to get it done.
Yep.
197. Everything's good here. Anything? No, I mean, 197's fine. 197's fine. 285. 285 is fine as well. Heavyweight's fine. Nothing to even. I mean, again with ACCs, they got 5 at heavyweight, which includes number 26 Peter Ming and number 27 Connor Burkett. Sort of crazy. Although, you know what? You know who? I mean, it's fairly highly ranked. Is the heavyweight from Missouri, Jarrett Stoner, kid out of Texas, I believe. Big 12 only got 4. And so Jarrett Stoner is ranked number 22 in the country, but he needs one. Once you get down to like 26 on down, ranked 26 on down, you can't really cry about it because
you had your opportunity all season.
You have your opportunities. Stoner, though, I mean, when you start talking about 22s like Jared Stoner and 18 like Kobe Seabrecht, 18 like Hayden Drury, 10 like Colton Hawks, these are guys that are probably going to steal or at the very least getting that large. But like, it's really odd that Stoner's ranked 22, and I mean overall, I think it's kind of odd that a big conference like the Big 12, with sheer numbers, didn't get more than 4. Matt got 3. I mean, the Big 12 got 4, and Matt got 3.
I'm trying to find. I mean, Stoner's his rank is kind of generous.
I mean, that could be too. Let's see what he is in WrestleStat.
WrestleStat has him 49th.
Oh, really? Well, that's probably the problem.
I mean, he really doesn't have a... He really does not have a good win.
I mean, Peter Ming from Stanford got one with a 12-8 record, 60% winning percentage. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, Stoner just doesn't have a good win. That ranking's kind of generous.
Well,
Peter Ming beat him. Ming beat Stoner head to head, so maybe there's the...
Well, I'll tell you, another thing too is some of these weights, like when you're looking at it through the lens of 33, like some of them fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so that's allocations.
Yeah. It's a fun time of year. And then this will actually turn into I'll post this, and then it'll turn into like when conferences happen, I'll lock them in, you know, like Big Ten takes 7. As soon as you're guaranteed top 7, I'll put you in there. I'll keep you in there. If you didn't, I'll put you down as needs a wild card. And so it'll be something you can refer to almost in real time to see who's in, who's out, and who needs.
Yeah.
Sort of a really dorky show.
Yeah, this is one for the... It's just one for the diehards. I mean, you had a little bit of everything in this show. You got everything from Knox to Snyder to Spencer to Ono to allocations. I mean, listen, the final 20 minutes is for the nerds. The allocations.
I called Collingswood, New Jersey scumbags. So that happened.
Yeah, Burroughs might be on your ass for that one.
Why? He's not Collingswood, is he?
No, but that. So the high school where this happened is where Jordan's running his academy right now.
Sorry, JB.
So yeah, a little bit of everything in this show. There's more analysis that will come naturally. If you found something in any of this, definitely tweet us. I saw somebody that said it looks like Iowa will only end up sending 9. They will likely not get one at 41.
Well, let's take a look. 41, they didn't earn. Uh,
I don't see them getting a guy in at 41.
well, for them to get a guy in at 41, it's not that difficult. I mean, like, you'd have to beat Danny Pacino or Joey Olivieri.
It's 100. It's definitely possible. It's just what's the likelihood? It's
I honestly wish. I mean, this would hurt the Big Ten. You don't want to hurt. I don't know. It gives you way more outs. I mean, to have a conference tournament that gets 9 guys, 8 guys out of 14. I mean, you could really have a terrible year. In the Big Ten, you can have a terrible year and cause one upset and get in. You can't do that in SoCon. You can't do that in the EIWA. The margin of error in those conferences, I mean, all season long, really, is so small. I mean, in the Big Ten, as long as you don't finish in the bottom 30%, you're in. There's a big opportunity. Big 10, Big 12. I don't want to say it's easy. It's not easy because the quality is so great, but there's certainly a bigger opportunity for guys that didn't make the cut to get in through the conference tournament. Because the other conferences, if you didn't get an allocation, you got to win the damn thing.
Yeah.
In this, I mean, you got to be. I mean, Hayden Drury doesn't have one. For him to get in, he has to beat Julian Tagg. I mean, right? I mean, Cullen Shriver, Ryder Block, whoever they put out there at 141. I mean, Danny Pacino is good, but you beat Danny Pacino, you're going to the dance.
Who did Iowa and Illinois wrestle this year?
Yeah.
So Ryder Block beat Pacino 4-3 the duel. so there's still a chance.
Ryder was in street clothes in the Oklahoma State duel, and I wonder if listen, I make fun of Flo having Ryder Block ranked, but I'm making fun of the ranking. I'm not making fun of Ryder Block. Ryder Block's great, 2-time Fargo champ. I mean, he was really good in high school. He was arguably 1 or 2 in the country. I was just making fun of the ranking. But listen, the version of Ryder Block we saw this year was not his best. Number one, he's pulling a ton of weight. Number two, he's just coming off of a season where he didn't wrestle one match because of injury. And when I saw him in street clothes, it made me wonder, I wonder if they just shut him down. Said, hey, stop pulling all this weight. That's not you out there, Parko graduate, you move up to 49, 57, get you on full feed, and we'll see a different Ryder Block. So, I don't know. But, I mean, that's just conjecture. That's just something that went through my head. Who knows? Maybe he'll be the guy. That's a good point. He has a win over Pacino. Maybe he is the guy.
Yeah. But I bring up that Iowa thing because it is interesting. So many people look at this kind of stuff through a different lens. So for people listening, if you're looking at through your lens and you see something, tweet us. Don't forget to subscribe to the show everywhere you listen to it. R.I.P. Luke Wise. That was sad news yesterday. He's been engaging with content for years. He was a coach. He was a pastor, and we used to kind of go back and forth a little bit about he's a Chiefs fan. obviously a Bills fan here, so but terribly sad. Keep him in your prayers. He's got 3
Yeah,
young daughters. Oof.
I
Battled
mean,
brain cancer.
I love guys like that, man. I mean, I always say I eat up the message boards. I like kind of live on the message boards. I live on wrestling Twitter, and Luke he was an awesome dude. And I mean, I didn't know him too well, but I've always interacted with him, and he was certainly a diehard wrestling guy. And it's very sad to hear. The guy, and I don't even remember his name anymore, sadly. Um, but the big M
Are you
emblem
talking
in
about
my
Gut
studio.
Wrench?
Gut wrench? No.
There was
I forget.
a guy who made me a Baschamania sign. This one actually. He was at Gut Wrench CNC on Twitter. He passed away a couple years
Yes.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that made the Mat Scout sign in my studio in Pennsylvania, he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away in like 2021, I want to say. Yeah, he's who made me that
Yeah,
sign. I got a nice little letter
yeah,
from him.
yeah.
Awesome, dude. It's sad. Like I don't think sometimes people realize. I know there's some content creators that just kind of put content out and don't really, do much with it. We engage, we see the comments, we appreciate support, and so when something like this happens, like, man, I'd say a solid amount of time last night, I was just kind of digesting the Luke Wise news, and it's sad. You interact with these people, and especially like wrestling people, it's so frequent. There's banter, there's discussions after tournaments and all this stuff, and then
Yeah.
yeah, it's sad. So terrible. Praying for his wife, his daughters. It's terrible. I wanted to
Yeah.
post the video because I use it
Where were they?
often.
They were Kansas?
What's that?
I think are they Kansas?
I think he was Kansas, yeah. Yeah, very sad. I always want to use the video Bashada took of you at Final X from 2023 when you're just like, terrible. It's terrible. but I don't want to use it in like in a serious situation because I forgot why you said like that's terrible.
It was. I think they were the calls in. They were definitely. It was definitely a response to calls. I think it was Chance and
I,
JB.
so the only two things I remember you being very vocal about was the Zane Richards Thomas Gilman match. So either something in that, or there was a couple calls early that were terrible. But I think I was on the floor for Burrow's chance, and this was before that. This was when everything was just getting started. By the way, another reason why I'm happy there's no Greco is it is going to be a nice flow to have. You got 20 weights to be decided, and I think the sessions are like at 2 and 5. It will be a nice flow. I'm looking forward to that, June 14th. All right, that's the show. Any final thoughts? We'll be back like Monday night-ish for our Big Ten seeds and preview show, and we'll
Yeah,
review Crystal
yeah.
Ball.
No, I'm going to be grinding on. If you're a high school junkie, check out the state tournament hub on Mad Scouts Rockfin. There's links to every state tournament bracket, one easy spot, and write-ups on almost all of them. At least probably 95% of them. I didn't do them for like Mississippi because they're just getting kind of started, and there's a couple states that just. I think probably almost every state. I at least put down the top kids that won titles, whether they're honorable mention or ranked, and who they're signed with. But there were a ton of tournaments last weekend. There's a ton of tournaments this weekend. Last weekend was Indiana, Illinois, Iowa. So all the write-ups are and national prep. So all the write-ups are in there. If you want real quick hidden cliff notes on what went down there. And this weekend, if you want to really follow along with some of the big ones, California's underway, Missouri's underway. You find the links and you'll find the write-ups eventually there. So I'm going to be grinding on that. I'm going to post Crystal Ball. I'm going to post the allocation stuff. And another article I have is like the toughest conference weights. Some will jump up on you. Like Pac-12 197. There's 4 teams, but there's 3 guys ranked in the top 10. So awesome. Some of them will jump up on you.
The one-day Thursday postseason tournament.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get some live Matt side coverage?
I don't know about live, but I'm certainly gonna interview some people and annoy some coaches and stuff.
I love it. All right, that's today's show. Appreciate all you wrestling nerds that tuned in for this one.
I super nerded out. I'm sorry about that.
Listen, watch it on 1.5x, 2x speed. Just consume it, digest it. It's good. It's good insight. And again, tweet us where you agree, disagree. Some of you YouTube commenters drive me nuts because no matter what we do, you're never happy. But there's a lot of you that I do read the comments and engage, and I do value the opinion. So comment. Let us know what you think. All right, go Bills.
Thanks.